Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Board Games Unlocked, and Zach and I are doing a no-run-through review for the newest expansion to Paladins of the West Kingdom, City of Crowns. So this was an expansion that was on my anticipated list for 2021, just because Paladins of the West Kingdom is just so great. It's a fantastic worker placement game. You can go check out my discussion and run-through for that to learn a little bit more. But City of Crowns adds quite a bit, actually, that comes with the, like, in the box. Of course, it adds 2 new actions, and then basically a set collection element on top of that, as well as increased worker placement spots, ways to ramp up your track, and then new paladins that have pretty wacky abilities. Overall thoughts on the expansion, I think, is positive, at least for me. I think it's a pretty solid expansion. So that's what do you think?
I would agree. It was a solid expansion. I think my only real concern was the enlistment, because it was pretty aggressive on, like, you could just get your attribute track up. Like, in no time. And it wasn't even that expensive to do. Like, that hard.
I think it's supposed to be, it ramps up super quick if you
do it early.
If you have the diplomacy for it. But like taking the enlistment enhances so much of everything else, because to attack higher up, that was kind of your focus. Like to attack, convert, those were the things that you were mainly doing, because you had to focus on inching that, inching those markers up. But here, I mean, granted, we're in level 4. But yeah, you get a free garrison and increases your strength by 5. Which is huge, but you need 9 diplomacy to do that. And very little things increase your diplomacy track. So,
and I will say, thematically, because you're basically imploring, lords to come and help you, it works.
It does work.
It works well.
And then, I mean, if you want to do that quicker, then you're picking the people, like the new workers that give you that buff. But they only give you a buff. Oh, no, never mind. A few of them give you a buff in the other ones. But there's only 3 of them in your deck, and so now the expansion makes you draw 4, put 1 on top, 1 on bottom, and permanently remove 1.
Which I thought was interesting. I like that.
I do really like that. I love this deck system.
I like the deck system.
Because half the time, I think I wanted to start converting, because stuff was coming out, and I'm like, I got rid of my convert guy. Oh, he's so expensive. So that's why I focused heavily on burning these cards. Only the ones that gave me the free convert.
I am happy the expansion didn't lengthen the game, in my opinion, all that much.
No, not at all.
No extra turns or anything crazy like that.
I don't even think it really overcomplicated. What a great expansion does is it enhances what's already great about the base game. So, and I think it did that. I think City of Crowns made it to where, because Paladins does kind of have, if you play it a lot, kind of a
path.
A path or a meta. And this definitely flips it on its head, because you get to, these new worker placement spots, and then now I can muster. So you have more options with your developing, and making those cheaper. I focused heavily on negotiating just because that was the expansion stuff, and I'm like, okay, well, let's just see how that does. Turns out it's actually pretty good, but like we were talking about in Paladins in general, like, I won by, 7 points? Something like that? It was like 107 to 116. Mainly just because I had a shit ton of money. But, 113 to 107. I don't think it was... This wasn't the end-all, be-all.
No, it wasn't
going for it.
You would just instantly win by focusing on that if you just started playing the game.
Because, hell, even with that ramp, of the tracks, I got 76 points off of that, which is huge. I don't think there's ever been a game of Paladins where I got almost all of them up.
I've never maxed out as high as these ever before. And I play a lot of Paladins.
Right, and I think maybe 1. You probably get 1 to 20, and then you get
1 to 20 and maybe another 1 to 11.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And that's if you had a great game.
Right, and that's what I'm saying is like this ramps up, so it just opens up a lot more options for the other cool stuff.
Yep.
Because this kind of comes out in the wash for points wise.
Right.
Because you got, what you get, 40, 55, 60, 64?
Yeah.
64. So,
65, yeah.
Yep, that's how math works. So that's kind of how... Oh, because it's 16, not 15. Yeah, 65 to 76.
Yep.
So 11-point difference. I think what helped out a lot was kind of the people I hired. Like, because I was trying to not have any suspicion at all, I had 2 squires that whenever... And I kept trying to cycle that as quickly as possible because I was like, okay, I'm going to give you debts. I'm going to make you go negative. And then, well, I'm going to get to go up on diplomacy and red.
Yeah. Which I will say, most of those cards, at least that we saw, are all red positive. Which, again, makes sense thematically. For the giant boost, it's allies come to help you fight something.
Yeah.
Right. So...
Are they? Were they? I mean, some of them were actually removed in the setup.
They were. But a lot were...
None of these were actually red.
Really?
Yeah.
It felt like every time I looked up at them, they were red.
So we have in the discard pile from what we burned, we got black, red, black, blue, black, blue, blue, black, black, blue, blue.
Well, there's 4 more reds and 2 blacks here.
Gotcha. Yeah, so... but it also lets you do a free action, which is super cool.
Which is powerful.
Yeah, because I think if anyone were to complain about Paladins, it is a very tight game.
Yep.
I think this actually helped balance out, because a big problem, it can be the in people can be luck of turn order. It's just like, oh, your turn order. Oh man, look at the wilds that you're gonna get that I don't get, and so and actually what you did better than me this entire game was you always had more people.
Yeah.
And then eventually I started mustering a lot more because you also had a really good person, the architect, that gave you a worker when you developed, and it's like, okay. And I think your first turn you developed twice because you made it where it cost 2 cheaper, and then you pulled them off, and then so you developed.
The first turn I did it both turn 1 and 2, did it twice. So the second turn is when I got cheaper. The first turn I just decided to make money and go do it.
Gotcha. Yeah, so you always had way more people, which I feel like with Paladins is kind of like that person's going to do better.
They're going to do well.
Yeah, just because they just have more actions that they're going to be able to do. Very first time I played Paladins, I learned very early on, don't do the level 3 stuff, because then you have no workers and people are still going. And I was like, oh no, I'm going to do bad.
Which is why I go heavy for development early on in every game of Paladins, because not only in this engine was you gain 1 worker for doing it.
Yeah.
I was getting a second worker.
Yeah.
But I also made something cheaper somewhere else.
Exactly.
So my mid-late game was going to be better.
Yep. I tried going heavy resources. So
Right.
I always had money, and I always had provisions.
Yeah.
But what I was saying was, this expansion, it actually, by doing the negotiate, because you get free stuff for it, it balances out. Okay, yeah, you have more workers, but I'm negotiating more, therefore I'm getting a free convert, I'm getting a free garrison, I'm getting something free. So I felt like it balanced it out. I didn't feel like I was as behind because I knew I was going to get to negotiate.
Right.
Because at that point it was cheaper for me, and that's what I really focused on. Well, we'll talk about that in a sec. So I like that. I feel like this expansion doesn't like ruin Paladins in any way. I think it actually kind of enhances it. I like the expansion quite a bit.
Yeah.
And my dogs do too, apparently. What's also fantastic. Well, actually, do you have any negatives?
No. I mean, for myself, I liked that Paladins was very tight. I don't play a lot of tight placement games, but to me, it was tight, but it was also lots of choices.
Yes.
Where, like, I play Agricola, and that's tight, with no choices.
Right. You didn't feed your people for the day?
Right.
They killed themselves. Wait, what?
So, it did open stuff up, and I might want to play it a couple more times before I decide, like, do I really like that or not?
Mm-hmm.
But if you do not enjoy the tightness of Paladins, then definitely this expansion helps it.
Yeah.
If you enjoy the tightness of Paladins, the expansion is going to take that away a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, granted, you were using the cool stuff that let you move your garrisons around.
Oh, no, I agree. Again, if it's out there, I'm going to use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, well, because, like, resources and everything aren't tight, or are still as tight, because while, like, you may get a free garrison to place somewhere, you still have to pay for, like, those provisions if you do that action separately. Yeah. So it's like, it's most likely going to be better off later on when it's really expensive to do something.
Right.
The one thing about the expansion that I don't either get or I don't care for is actually the set collection element of it. I have no idea why you would bother.
Now, when enlisting it is more valuable than doing the set collection portion of it.
Right. I mean, because the set collection has essentially two elements. If you get 3 of one type, then you get an ally.
Right.
And only you will ever have this ally.
Right.
I think they're the same on both sides. Yeah. So, essentially, they each give you, when you pass, they give you a worker. So, the Goth people give you the black worker. The red people give you a red, green, and blue. And they also give you a benefit.
Yeah.
Tax money, and then lets you flip a debt. So, essentially, you get those, and, okay, you're going to at least be one worker up, which is good each time you pass. If you can get them really early on, that's going to be really good. But then in terms of accumulating points, like, I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't.
Like, it's saying, and unless the rulebook's just really bad, it's saying for each set it accumulates. So your first set is 0 points. Your second set's 2, third set's 5, and fourth set is 9.
But let's just say we were wrong. It's 3 sets of 9 points.
Mm-hmm.
There's 4, so it's unique sets. There's 4 symbols.
Yep.
So that means you need 16 cards to get 9 points.
Yeah.
I do not need to take this action 16 times to get 9 points.
That is true.
I need to take Garrison 7 times to get it.
Well, I thought it was points per set. It is. I thought each set. I think it was points per set.
Well, it said max of 9. That's the thing. Like, because that's what I was looking at the end game. It's 0 to 9. Well, okay, maybe it is for each set of unique icons.
Yeah, for each set.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're only going to get a max of 9, but if you got 16 cards, then that would be, 9 times 4, 36 points.
Yeah.
So, which is, huge.
Yeah.
Like, that.
It's big.
Hell, even 2 sets for you would have been the 10 points to just bump over. But we were like, yeah, let's just get the immediate benefit. So that the set collection is very long term.
Right.
Just like anything else. This is all long term.
But I still think that if you're doing the set collection, you're not getting the top benefit, which means you're not jumping up here, and up here is worth a lot more points.
That's true.
Because you can't do both. The thing is, like, if this negotiate was like the muster was the take one off versus the negotiate, I might agree with that, because then you could do the long term that you want to do both.
You know what, they go actually hand in hand, because so whenever you take a set collection, you get to go up in diplomacy.
Yep.
Diplomacy then allows you to get the top one. So whenever you need another one, like, oh, one of them's gonna let me go up 5 in black.
Right.
Okay, now I can take this card. So essentially, you're mustering and negotiating back and forth.
Yeah.
But that seems like... Paladins has always... Yeah. Paladins has always been a game of, kind of figuring out your goal.
Yeah.
Like, you can't do everything.
Right.
And if you do everything...
You're not going to do it well.
You're not going to do it well. I only maxed out my absolving because you get a personal goal. I like this.
Yep.
It's nice. It's an extra 6 points if you complete it.
Yep.
Which this is cool because it's like... Because I like how these come out because they're accumulating points because you have less time to do them.
Right.
And
you have now an extra track to fill. So before you only had to fill 3 tracks to get bonus points.
Yep.
Now you have a 4th track to fill.
And the game starts you off with a garrison.
Which is nice.
That is very nice. Because that's kind of like, okay, what do I want to go for this round? You and I were immediately going to do fortify.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I'll do negotiate. That's the expansion.
Right.
So, I just think it adds more to the game without distracting from the game.
I would agree.
And then we didn't even mustering is just, I mean, that's another set of points. Like for every 2 you get a point. You can also potentially get more workers or more benefits,
right?
Depending on how those come out. Oh, like if I take this one, I get to go up in my diplomacy, which there in turn allows me to go to take more of those.
So I think I messed up or did not do well. Maybe not mess up is it's also action space. So you can put like a worker here, a white, and get a purple.
Yep.
Well, then if you don't take that muster and I go and do muster, I take that card, I get my white worker back, get another purple, and go up in the white flag.
Yep.
Which can make those musters super solid.
You did that once.
Yeah.
And I was like, because you went there, and actually you might have done it
I did
twice. Because I think... Because I was annoyed because
I waited till you passed.
You waited till I put my thing down, and you're like, all right, I'm gonna go there, and I'm like, God damn it, I have 2 workers left. I know why he did that. It's stupid. But yeah, so you can kind of synergize and just kind of cycle workers through there.
Yeah.
And I mean, Shem Phillips, I think struck a really good chord with this expansion because. I don't know. Like, for me, it opens it up, but also that means it opens up for your opponent just as much, which therefore tightens the game again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. I thoroughly enjoy that expansion. The set collection, it's either worded weird or, it still doesn't quite feel worth it.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
But... who knows? Maybe someone's like, "Oh, I never find garrisoning worth it. That's only 9 points, and you have to, pay a bunch of provisions for that."
Yeah, but to me, maybe somebody doesn't. It's worth it because you gain also another benefit of either meeples, money, free, and basically
debt removal.
Yeah, coins. It's giving you something else.
Yeah.
Still,
while also increasing a track.
And increasing a track.
Yeah, that's why Paladins has always been great because. Like commissioning, for example, it tells you what you have to have to do it, but also what you get. That's always been a great.
And it rewards being successful in tracks. So that's one of the reasons I like Paladins is because you can kind of figure out in a turn how to get the optimal turn. And there's some things that your opponent can stop you, I take this spot.
Yeah.
Well, okay, your opponent can't get it. But realistically, for 95% of the game, your opponent can't touch anything.
Exactly. Yeah. It's more just kind of like drafting. Okay, I took this armor because you were maxed out on red. I'm like, well, I'm also actually kind of high on red. I don't hate draft because I think that's kind of dumb. But I was like, well, he's gonna get points because he's able to convert a lot.
Yep.
And I looked over and I was like, I think I was at 10. And I'm like, well, I can probably get 2 red, so I'm gonna get some points for it.
Yeah. And that's where I started attacking more because I knew I was going to get points for killing off certain people, and it was getting me my blue track up.
Yeah.
And I already had it pretty much maxed out because we had one right there to do it.
Oh yeah, that one came out. Yeah, I was mainly because I was initially going to do this one up front, but I was like, I don't see the point in taking those right now.
Yep.
For an additional 4 points. So I just kind of started focusing on mustering and just was banking on this. That was it. That was all. That was my only hope of getting points, and I knew I was going to get some from that. And then also trying to get you some debts, so you lost points.
Yeah.
Which debts still aren't nothing.
Nope.
Or
nothing.
they still are nothing.
Don't worry about them. Take them. Collect them as often as you can.
Take your thieves or whatever they are.
Yep.
Take those. Get the wild, because at the end of the day, you're going to get coins
every time.
No,
there should
almost
never be
every
a question.
For coins?
I'll say get conspire take as many purples as you can. Anything that gives you a purple, take it.
That's what I'm saying.
It's worth it every time.
Because you'll almost always get coins, and it's very easy to flip debts, and there's a reward for doing that.
Right.
You get a point instead of losing 3.
Yep. It's a 4-point swing.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the only thing that it might do is in this particular game where I was ramping up, or I was having you ramp up a lot of debt while I was only gaining from that, it might have stopped you from doing an action or two throughout the game to try and get rid of, because I think at one point you had 4 or 5 debts, and then you're like, and you took a card that got rid of 2. That got rid of 2, and man, I was gonna take it because I'm like, no, I need him to have debts.
Yep.
But I was so that might have altered something that could have skewed the game, but it's never going to be noticeable. There's never going to be a point where debts are like, man, because I had so many, I lost the game.
Even if I had the 2 more, so it's -6, I'm still at 101 versus 116. You're talking a 15-point swing after you've already hit 100.
Yeah, after my entire game was trying to have you have a lot of debts and me have none. Yeah, I can't think of really anything else on the expansion. It adds more to the townspeople and the whatever these are called, enemies. Sure, the enemy deck. Adds new. Oh yeah, so the 4 new people. You got Astolfo. They all still look hideous. So it's the worst people art I've ever seen in any game. But he gave you 3 in diplomacy and 1 in faith. But he gave you 1 of each worker. So he was...
That was his power.
That was his power. 2 workers. Yeah, extra... Oh, you're right. It was extra 2 workers. Yeah, I forgot these. So that's pretty good. You have Renaud. Negotiating costs no silver. It gives you a red and a blue, and then 3 diplomacy and 1 black. I don't remember what black was. Is faith? I thought blue was faith. Maybe black... No, black is faith.
Yeah, I think black is faith, and blue is...
Something.
It's there.
Then you got Margraves. He gives you 2 whites, so that kind of sucks. But he's the one that gives you the most diplomacy bump, which is 4. But his is actually really cool if you have because you can easily have a debt engine where you remove debt a lot, and his is the cost of each action may be ignored by taking a debt. That's really cool.
It is.
And then this guy. I was like, I thought there were 4. And then Firebras. He gives you 3 diplomacy, 1 strength, black and a green, and mustering costs no provisions. So, yeah, I like having those in the game. I would definitely... Would you recommend City of Crowns?
Yeah, if you enjoyed Paladins, I think City of Crowns is good.
Yeah, I agree. All right, on a scale of 1 to 10.
It probably didn't move it. It's still a 9 for me.
Still a 9?
Yeah.
On City of Crowns?
Yeah.
The expansion?
Yeah, I don't think it increases or decreases Paladins. To me, it just changes the game a little bit, but not in a bad way.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'll give it a 9 as well. I can't remember what I gave Paladins. I think I gave it a 9. If I didn't, it is a 9 now at this point. So yeah, definitely get City of Crowns if you can.
Yep.
You have anything else?
Nope.
All right, cool. Hey, real quick, everyone. Zach and I are dumb, apparently. We can figure out how to play this game, but apparently not figure out how to score it.
At all.
So, we mentioned that, I will say the wording isn't great, but for the set collection part of City of Crowns, with the 4 different unique symbols, the points are accumulative for each unique set. Yep. So, it goes 0, 2, 5, and 9. And for each set, you'll get, if you have 1 of one type, you'll get no points. If you have 2 of that type, or 2...
If you have a set of 2, so if you have, for instance, they had red, blue, green, and black. If you had blue and a red, it was worth 2 points.
Yep.
If you had all 4 colors, it was worth 9 points. And then you could have another set, for instance, and you could score between 0 and 9 points, depending on how many cards. So... with 4 cards, and theoretically in your beginning 1, or 5 cards in your beginning set 1, you could score a total of 11 points.
Yes. Yep. So that's how that works.
I would agree. The wording in the rulebook is bad, but neither one of us looked at... They do a good job of putting italic examples, and we decided to ignore the example.
Apparently, yeah. Because I did look at the endgame scoring, and I was like...
I did too. multiple times.
Yeah, for example, because the guy, he has 2 blue, a red, a black, and 2 green. It's like the player would score 9 points for a complete set of 4 unique icons, and another 2 for each set of 2, which is the merchant and farmer.
Right.
So, and then they would get the 5. So yeah, because he's getting the blue, red, black, and green, so that's 9, and then the other blue and the other green gets him the other 2.
Right.
So I think we had 2 points to our scores.
We should have had.
Because I think because we didn't do that because we were like, man, that sucks.
Yep.
All right, so doesn't change the score.
Nope.
Still a 9 out of 9.
Yep.
9 out of 9. A 9 out of 10. But had to definitely bring that up because boy were we dumb. Anyway, stick around for the rest of the discussion. Bye. So that was it, everyone. Let us know what you think of the expansion in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.